In the endless world of music, there's one genre that amazes me. Punk rock is a genre that emerged in the 1970s and spawned a bunch of other genres and bands that would go on to make it big in the music industry. While some were short-lived and others are still going since the 1980s, I feel like there was one band that doesn't get as much credit as it deserves outside the punk rock community. While everyone knows about Nirvana and Green Day, I feel like Operation Ivy isn't as appreciated as it deserves to be. And since the album Energy is turning 35 this May, I thought I should talk about Operation Ivy's history, hits, and more today. So before the 1980s, East Bay punk bands really didn't have a place to perform at. There were attempts, but they all failed, and that's why in 1984, a then young punk rock fan named Tim Yohannan was thinking about opening a place where people who wanted to play punk rock songs could. And on New Year's Eve 1986, that place opened. So the place had work started on it in 1985 when Tim Yohannan and Victor Hayden, a person who was also trying to open a punk club in Berkeley, had to pick a place where the club was going to be made at. And while at first Tim Yohannan wasn't a fan, they eventually agreed on the location 924 Gilman Street. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, however, as in order to pay for construction, they would need $40,000 US. But with some political connections and supporters, Gilman Street managed to actually open. A lot of great bands had played there, like Green Day, NoFX, Crimpshrine, and more. However, in 1987, a really important band was formed. In the May of 1987, a ska and punk mixed band made up of vocalist Jesse Michaels, guitarist and vocalist Tim Armstrong, bassist and vocalist Matt McCaw-Freeman, and drummer Dave Mello formed the band Operation Ivy. Named after the 1952 American nuclear weapon of the same name, Operation Ivy was a ska and punk rock mixed band that first performed in Mello's garage. But the next day, on May 28, 1987, they played at Gilman Street for the first time. They were loved there and were often promoted on local flyers promoting the club. The songs were fast, upbeat music with lyrics that centered around themes like future, accepting people, and more. They were clearly a huge pillar in the sound of East Bay punk, but what about in the studio? The first time they were on an album of any sort, it was Turn It Around. Turn It Around was a compilation of 17 songs across 12 bands such as Crimpshrine, I Will Crap Sweet Sweet Baby Jesus, and Operation Ivy. Two of the songs are Operation Ivy songs, and they are called I Got No and Officers. It's a bit rough, but it sounds like what was soon to follow up Turn It Around, Hectic. In January 1988, Operation Ivy's debut EP, Hectic, was released. Hectic had 6 songs, and all of them were put onto something I will talk about soon. I do like the song Here We Go Again, and apparently this EP is the reason why Lookout Records were opened. Actually, now that I mention them, I should probably go over Lookout Records real quickly. In 1987, a small record publishing company called Lookout Records was founded by Larry Livermore and David Hayes. While the label has published a lot of records, it is mostly known for Hectic, Energy, 39 Smooth, Kaplunk, and this one isn't well known, but I love it just as much, The Sound of a New World being made by Crimpshrine. However, in 2012, after a lot of management changes and a lot of legal shenanigans surrounding the masterize of some of the albums, Lookout Records had to shut down. So I just summed up Lookout Records for you all. Now we need to go back to Operation Ivy. So after one EP and a lot of live shows, Operation Ivy had finally released their first full-length album, Energy. Now this is a great album. It has a lot of songs I love, such as Knowledge, Sound System, Take Warning, The Crowd, Bombshell, Unity, Bad Town, Smiling, and Freezing Up. The album is great, and I feel like the sales reflect that, as for an indie label getting 5,000 copies to be sold, that's pretty impressive. But only a bit later, after this legendary album, the band broke up. On May 28, 1989, after an EP, a full album, 185 fucking live shows, Operation Ivy played the last official live show at Gilman Street. Funny enough, it was the same day that Green Day played their first show with the name Green Day, and I think that's where this image comes from too. But after that show, Operation Ivy was no more, well, at least at Gilman Street. They played one more show a day after, but it was mostly for friends and family. In 1991, Lookout Records released a compilation album called, Operation Ivy, and had all 27 songs from Turn It Around, Hectic, and Energy, and it's the best way to listen to the songs. Tim Armstrong and Matt Freeman went on to do Rancid, Dave Miller went to join his brother's band Schlong, and Jesse Michaels went on to do his band Big Rig. While it is sad that this band ended before they could really get popular, I gotta say what they left for us was a fantastic list of ska punk songs that will forever hold a grip on the legacy of East Bay punk. One thing to note is that the chance of a full group reunion is pretty slim to happen. Jesse Michaels has stated on a MySpace blog multiple reasons why the band probably wouldn't play again. However, there have been times where Rancid have played some Operation Ivy songs. On the US tour in 2006, Rancid played Unity and Sound System. Another time was on February 5th, 2022 at Musk's Rock and Roll Carnival. There was a kids' charity going on, and Tim Armstrong, Jesse Michaels, and others played Sound System live. While I can't confirm anything in the future, I do think that more events like these will probably happen, where a couple of the band members perform 1 or 2 songs together, and who knows, maybe one day there might be a full reunion, but only time will tell. Thank you all for watching this video. If I make any more like this, which I probably will, I will talk about maybe like Nirvana, Crimpshrine, NoFX, well maybe Green Day one day, but until then, like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Peace.